Woo! All right, so I'm going to turn it over to our MC extraordinaire, Troy McDonald, with Allstate Insurance.
Thank you, Joe. I had to laugh at Beverly on there. She says, okay, 5.
I know, I can't figure out my fingers.
3. We're watching those fingers. Well, anyway, folks, welcome to Talk Shop. This is networking. I think at its best we've developed a lot of warm and friendly faces here at Talk Shop and also relationships. Talk Shop wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. And we'd like to bring back up the founder of Talk Shop, an extremely great mortgage officer here with the Evolve Bank and Trust. Joe, come on up and say a few words, please.
He's always good for the ego. Rates are still really low, as you know, but the important thing is that know that Susan and I will spend the extra time, if you refer someone to us, to make sure that they feel loved and appreciated and that we get them a very good deal. We'll work out scenarios for them. We can compare 2, 3, 4 different scenarios to see what's going to work for them best, whether they're refinancing and restructuring their financing or whether they're wanting to purchase a home. So remember that connect with experience and take home the results. Joe Garner, Evolve Bank.
Thank you, Joe. Last night my wife she's been gone for a few days, so I was able to actually have a great meal this morning because I've been living on cereal and milk and salsa early in the morning. Anything that came out of a package was working well, but she's back. We welcomed her home last night and we were thrilled to see her. So let's give a warm welcome to my lovely wife, Miss Lynn McDonald with Allstate.
Thanks, Troy. I'm so glad to get back. One of the things we're doing at Allstate right now, we've done it every year till we run out of them. We have $10 gift cards. So if you refer somebody to us, you get a $10 gift card. All we have to do is complete the quote. They don't have to purchase from us. And I know Joe has received some cards, Pat, and I've got a couple here for investors. And if you know an investor, they want their renters to have renter's insurance. It helps them. So if you know a renter and you'd like a $10 gift card, just have them give me a call, whether they purchase or not. Next week, I'll be bringing you a card. When you're with Allstate, you're in good hands, mine.
All right. Very good. Very good. Thank you, dear. It's a way of saying thanks to people that just refer businesses that show that they're thinking of us, as we all try to do in this organization. Our other sponsor, of course, is the favorite of ours because he brings in all those wonderful goodies. Let's give a warm welcome to the confectioner, Eric Myers, up here.
Good morning. Well, hopefully, if everything goes right, next week my truck will be parked outside. Right now it's in the driveway because we don't have insurance on it yet. But that's being worked on. Meantime, if you know anybody that we've already got a commitment for a call center over in Bartlett. Got about 400 employees. They've got a rolling lunch hour from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and they've invited me to come out. So if you know facilities or building areas like this that have lots of people that need lunch, we'd love introductions to building managers and property managers, so we can get on their list of approved food trucks. Eric Myers with the food truck by the confectionery, because life is too short for ordinary food.
So you're going to have a big sign on the side of your truck? The food truck, food truck, the one and only food truck. Well, all right, we also want to say hello for a moment to thank B&B Flooring out here. And Tanika's decided that she'd like to take a little bit of pass. She said she talks a little longer than for a minute. But we also have another kind of like a great advertiser. We're going to bring up Miss Gwendolyn. Gwen, please.
Good morning. Gwen Christensen, the owner of Builders Floors and Interiors. We are a full-service floor covering company. We've been in business for 18 years. We service builders, real estate agents are always good people, insurance people. We love Lynn and Troy. And anyone really looking for floor covering, we try to do the best we can to give you service and the best prices possible. Gwen with Builders Floors. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwendolyn. Let's get the gold standard up here. I saw a little advertisement for gold this morning. It made me think of Pat Goldstein, so give her a warm welcome. Let's get her up here. Dressed in green today. All right, dear.
I'm a day late for St. Patrick's Day. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. As y'all know already from hearing it several times, the real estate market is picking up. Things are selling fast. I've got several clients who have been looking, and we look at the new things that come on the market and try to jump on them, but sometimes they're already under contract. So if you've got something that you need to sell or somebody who needs to buy, they do definitely need a professional to help them get it done. Pat Goldstein.
Gold standard.
You know, we always have those nice taglines, and I like them. They're getting very creative. Marcella with our charity of choice. Marcella, please come on up here, dear.
Charity of choice, is that it?
Yes.
Well, right. Our charity of choice is the Y. Of course, most of you know that we are giving the children swimming lessons this summer. And I think right now it has maybe like $12 or $13 in the kitty. So make sure you give me all of your money before you leave today, okay? And I'm with Mel, look at the wellness company. And Freiburg, Germany is known for its most outstanding research labs in the world. So I would ask you, what would Ponce de Leon and Freiburg, Germany have in common?
Fountain of Youth.
Okay, Ponce de Leon was looking for the Fountain of Youth. Freiburg, Germany found it. Where did they find it? In Melaleuca's nutritional pack. Okay, the researchers have just been awesome. If you'd like to read it, I have a paper here you're welcome to look at. But the results have just been phenomenal. In fact, the scientists who were researching it, some of them never took vitamins because they could not see they did anything, and now they're taking these vitamins. So if you're looking for the Fountain of Youth, I'll share this paper with you. Thank you.
Fountain of Youth, I am telling you.
All right. Joe, anything else we need to add here? Time to individual introduction. Yes. Okay. Mark's got a. Well, you want to bring Mark up first when we do the individual ones? Is that how you'd like to do it? Mark, come on up. We'd like to hear motivation before we get the individual introductions. Let's give him a warm welcome. This guy is fantastic.
My motivational moment this morning is based on two quotes. First one from Alvin Toffler is, "The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." The second one is, most people hate what they do and live in mediocrity and stay there because it's safe. So instead of venturing into something they don't know but might love, they allow themselves to be trapped by what they do know and don't like. Now those two go together really well because you stay stuck in what you don't like because you don't learn enough to take that next step. So if you look at your past year and you say, I'm still doing exactly what I was doing last year, and I'm not very happy about it, start reading and learning and try to find another way of doing it and take that step even though it might be scary. That's it for today.
Okay, well, he's just incredible. I just like to hear those inspirational moments. You know, sometimes we bring them at the very last second saying we need a great motivation moment. He's been creative every single time that we brought him up. Well, we're going to bring up our Y. As you ready to do your little 1 minute here? Talk a little bit about cancer, I think. Y? Warm welcome for this lovely lady. This girl's involved in so many great charities.
Good morning. What I'm really talking about is saving lives. And the first lives that I'm most concerned about are yours. This is March, and March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. And what I have before me is that WATN, Channel 24, and Fred are putting together a plan for you to have screening, colorectal screening. Because of my minute, I'm going to tell you this, and I want your fast ears on. You only have to go to Fred's that have pharmacies. Walk up to the pharmacist and say, I want a colorectal screening kit. They will give you the kit. If you have any questions, they will explain it to you. One of the great things is that this is not old school. This is new school. You do not have to swab the paper. You do not have to do anything but go to your bathroom and drop a piece of tissue in there. If there is nothing wrong with it, you have nothing else to do. If for some reason you do find a color or a different color, then you would talk to your physician. It does not mean that you have cancer, but it does mean that you are taking care of yourself and that you are being preventive in colorectal cancer. So I'm going to say it to you again. Early detection will save your life. And one of the things that you can do is simply walk to Fred's, go to the pharmacist, and say, I want a free screening kit. Take your kit home, walk into your bathroom, shut your door, and run this test. And if everything comes well, then you come back and you are full of wellness. If not, then you will talk to your physician. I give you this because I am Wise Ways of Wellness.
Wow. That is terrific. I don't know about, we've been through the old school, haven't we, sweetie? Anybody else been to that old school? Yes. Well, I like that new school. Why, thank you so much for sharing that. Joe, anything in particular? We're going to do individual introductions next. Well, let's start out with you then. Come on, girl.
I wasn't expecting to get to talk again, but Susan and I have an affinity program, and we keep up with who refers business to us. And when we have a loan that closes, we go back and look and see who referred that to us. And we make an extra effort to go find referrals for that person. So if you're the person who refers us a loan and we close it, we're going to go in there on our affinity program. We're going to look Rena and we're going to see how can we send Rena some business. Let's do something for her, even if it's put something out on social media to direct business back to you. So it's all about reciprocity and helping each other to prosper. I'm Joe Garner with Evolve Bank and Trust. I'm in the mortgage business.
Thank you, Joe. We've got about 20 or 25 seconds here for do individual introductions. So, but we've got Eric back there. Put the time clock on you. And Eric, if they exceed that 25 seconds, what do we hear?
I'm going to throw my phone out.
Okay, there you go. So, if you'd like to play a little dodgeball today, last longer than 25 seconds. Well, my lovely wife, the inspiration for me every morning, my lovely wife, Lynn.
You. One of the things Troy and I get to do that we love is we get to teach first-time home buying school. If you can imagine a sea of potential home buyers. But spread the word. United Housing offers this class for free. You learn about what we're going to learn today, how to improve your credit. And there are some home buying, help me out, Joe, incentives. By taking the class, you might get down payment assistance up to $15,000. See me after class.
Come on up.
The dodge those telephones. Again, when we builders floors, we have a lot of good wood samples out that we are showing right now. We will offer you guys builder pricing too, so if you need some new wood.
Well, unfortunately, I have Michael here. Michael, come on up. This is like 2 times in 3 weeks. This is great. He's using the traveler.
Hi, I'm in town this week. My name is Michael Thomas. I'm a private lender, also a tester here in Memphis. If you guys know anybody that's looking for some quick funding, do some rehab projects here in Memphis or any other state, just give me a call.
Thank you, Michael. All right. Come on, guys. Up front, best dressed man in the house, along with a couple other here.
Thank you. You know, I thought Troy was using that mellow look of vitamin stuff because he lost some weight, but it was because Lynn was out of hand. John Keller, Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investment. I heard a great thing that you know, the 80-20 rule. 80% of your money comes from 20% of your clients. 80% of your problems comes from 20% of your clients. That 80% of your money comes at the last 20% of your savings cycle. So start saving early. Start saving just with 1%. We can make it happen. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Alex Ginsberg of Alex Ginsberg Photographs. I'm in the middle of redoing my sign in front of the studio. And so it's easy to kind of tell you what we do because it's going to be bullet points. I do commercial and personal photography. So if you need to upgrade your image, please call me on that. I do promotional products. Anything that's got a logo or an imprint, I can take care of that as well. And we do photo restoration in the studio. So please call me for all 3 of those needs.
All right, Jackie, Chick.
Rita Lindsay here. Good morning.
Good morning.
I need a referral to our county mayor. I heard him on bit of TV the other day, and he's wanting to have a healthy Shelby. So we are here wanting to share our good news about health and wellness. And of somebody that can put me in touch with him, I love it. Rena Lindsay, the Shackley.
All right.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Constance Coleman. I'm filling in for Anthony Burrow this morning, B&B Floors. We specialize in all types of flooring, fire restoration, remodeling. We have quality floors at reasonable prices. Thank you. Good job.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dale.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have a book in your head, but you're stumped as to how to get that book in your hand? Well, I can solve that problem. As a book coach, I know exactly how to turn writers into authors. Idell, look me up on the web at speakforme.com.
Thank you, Dale. All right. Come on, Larry, up there and tell us how that banking business is going.
Good morning, Larry Allen with First Alliance Bank, a locally owned community bank. We're a full-service bank offering all kinds of banking services, checking, savings, CDs, but more importantly, we're a small business lender here to support the small business community. We're here to make you a name and not just a number. So remember, bank local, buy local, bank with a local community bank.
Amen.
There we are. Good morning. I'm Mark Van Stoke at Calaveras Business Coaching, and this time I want to talk about other people. One thing is, if a lot of people have commented on my picture on Facebook, and that's an Alex Ginsberg special. It's a beautiful picture, and I'm very proud of it. Dell is helping me with my book, and she's got a wonderful process that I'm certain will result in results. And lastly, Kiwanis Pancake Day is coming up on the 28th. That's a week from Saturday. And anyway, for $6, you get to eat all the pancakes, sausage, orange juice, and everything you can consume. And it's all for a wonderful cause, for some children's causes I can tell you all about. So if you're interested, I've got tickets. No, it's not.
Just talk about it. No problem. You can do that. Hi. Yes. My name is Rico Johnson with BetterLifeBetterCoffee.com. I am a distributor for Organic Gold Coffee. I would like to make an appointment with you to show you how coffee can actually bring you more customers and potential prospects. You can find me at BetterLifeBetterCoffee.com.
All right, Michael. Another well-dressed man.
Yes.
Good luck, Michael.
I'm Mike Stewart with Data Management Systems, which is a company I've had for 40 years. What I do is search engine optimization. If you think it's important to be on the top of search engines, you should see me. Yesterday was a banner day because I signed a first client for a new revolutionary product I think I have, and I wanted to also thank Mark Van Stoke for helping me write the marketing description for that. But if you'd like more information, talk to the class or whatever this is.
All right. All right, the gold standard. Jump back up there again. You get going again. Yes.
Okay, well, since I get to go twice, I'm going to talk about something totally different, which y'all have heard before by Salus, a nutritional company, and their goal is to crush the obesity epidemic in America, well, actually in the world. And one of the things that they're doing to try to help people with their weight loss or just, weight gain if they want to gain lean muscle or just nutritional is they're donating 90 meals to needy children for anyone who loses 10 pounds. The company does the donation, but you get to choose where it goes.
All right, Miss Beverly, are you ready to do a little 20 seconds? Come on up.
On camera?
Yes, on camera, dear. Come on up here. Let's give her a warm welcome. She's kind of a quiet kind of lady, but she's up here now. I brought her up here.
Thanks for what they provide. Hi, I'm Beverly Borwick, Beverly Borwick Designs. I'm an fashion accessories designer. Would love to just be creative, use my God-given talents and design jewelry, various types, and closest aprons, and home claims, just whatever it's going to be. I'm just so excited about all the possibilities. Thank you, Revolving Designs. And my website is under construction.
Well, great. She's kind of a shy, quiet person too. She didn't want to come up here, but I made
I just want to say something about that necklace. I'm a coordinator for Mop Assembly of Mops. We're doing that necklace for all the moms. So I just, that's our logo this year, and just because she does it, displaying it.
You want to kind of stroll across here? Oh, there you go. Come on. There you go. Keep on strolling. Keep on strolling. There you go. You got it.
She's very shy.
She's Hey, boy, I like that stroll. A little bounce to that stroll. The person that was going to talk to us today about credit is unfortunately, I think you don't remember. Yeah. So there's nobody better to have talking about credit than our lovely Joe Garner in her credit simulator. So with that, AB, go on. Well, we do. Poor Miss Joe Garner.
Okay, guys, I'm glad that I'm among friends because I didn't find out till a little over an hour ago that our speaker is so sick. So it's going to be me. You got me today. But the good news is that I love to talk about credit, and we've been able. Susan and I have had so many success stories on the WREC show. We've actually had we do credit makeovers. And so I can tell you some stories about people who thought that their credit was hopeless. And we were able to run a credit simulation on them and give them a plan. They worked their plan, and they were able to move out of a very small house into a very much larger house. And their payment went down instead of up. So that was a win-win. And they just had another baby. I think it's like their second or third child. They just had their baby last week. So perfect timing to get in a house, to get a bigger house and an extra bedroom. So there's a lot of fun stories that Susan and I get to see, and some of them kind of make you tear up, because people think their credit's hopeless. The biggest problem with credit that we see in our office are people who go through divorces. One time, I had a guy who taught. He did the flight simulators, the training for FedEx, and he was talking to me one day, and he said, "Joe," he said, I teach about credit too, and I teach about financial wisdom too." He said, "I teach it to every one of the new pilots that come to work for FedEx." And I was looking at him like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I get up in the front of the room, and when they have their first class on initiation day. These are pilots coming in to fly for FedEx." And he said, "I'm going to give you a little lesson." He said, "Now, first, we're not going to talk about flying planes." He said, "We're going to talk about credit. We're going to talk about making money on your money, investing your money." Right, John Keller?
Absolutely.
All right, so this is his lesson. Stay married to your first wife. He really did. And he meant it. Because what happens, you got pilots, that make, $300,000-400,000, well, not 400,000 unless you're way up there, but most of them make at least about 200,000 or 300,000 a year. And then they get divorced, and guess who gets their 401k? Stay married to your first wife. But anyway, so that's my story about credit, and I'm making this up as I go since I just found out I'm going to be speaking. But I want to give you some ground rules about credit. Credit, if you have a really good score, some people say, "Well, what's a good score?" A really, really good score is a score that's over 720. You're actually in the best pricing tiers when it comes to mortgages, and in some cases, big purchases like cars and things like that. If you've got a 720 on a FICO score, you've got a very good score. The highest is 850. The middle score, mediocre score is around 680. Is a mediocre score. It's not a bad score. You're not going to get the best pricing on that, but it's. And help me out here, Larry, if you want to chime in. He's with Alliance Bank. Now, a score that you can still do a mortgage with it, but you're going to pay more for the rate is 620, 640. Those are your minimum scores before mortgage companies are like, "Nah, we don't really want to do business with you until you get a higher score." Now, back in the old days, in the 90s, we used to do a loan application, and we'd have to hand carry the actual loan application upstairs to DataFax, and they took 3 days to do a credit report. Today we get them done in a few seconds on the computer. But then I'd have to wait a couple of days, and they'd call, and they'd do everything manually. Then I'd get a call from Laurie Nadasta, and she said, "Hey, JoJo, this is Laurie upstairs. I got your credit report done on Miss Smith." And, well, she said, I had to get my green gloves out. She said she's BTR. Y'all know what BTR stands for? Born to Rent. Yes. Born to Rent. But now, sometimes she'd call and say, "Oh, JoJo, you need to go get Mr. Jones a house. He's great." Well, anyway, today we do it all on the computer. And it takes a few seconds, and everything is computerized. And a lot of your mortgage underwriting programs today, you're underwritten first by a computer before a human underwriter ever sees your file. So today, even more importantly than back then, you want your credit scores to look good. Okay, so I want to tell, before I go into the next phase, and I'm making this up as I go.
Let me ask you,
yes.
underwriting, is that just simply evaluating? That's always a misnomer to me. Who's underwriting?
Thank you, Gwen, and I need y'all to help me today. I'm among friends. I appreciate your question. Today, underwriting, there's two parts to underwriting. You put the loan application in. I get all your information, Lynn, and your income, your assets. I pull your credit on the computer that comes back within 5 seconds, and I've got all 3 credit bureaus and everything, Michael, that you have on your credit history. Then once I've got all of that, assets, income, how long, where you work and how long you work there, and all that, then I hit a button. And the computer system is hooked up with a modem, of course, and it's underwritten through Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac on their software system. And it says, well, John Keller, his income to debt ratios are a little high. I'm just making this up. His income to debt ratios are a little high, but hey, his credit is sterling, and he's got a lot of money sitting in the bank. When he gets done closing on this house, he's going to have plenty left over. This is pretty good risk. And it says approve eligible. Okay, and then, so to that point, I call John up and I say, "Hey, John, you're looking good. We need to get your tax returns, your W-2s, and your pay stubs, and we need to get your bank statements, and let's move forward." So if he's buying a house, then at that point, if he's got once he gets a contract signed with Pat Goldstein up here at Crylike, then Pat sends me the contract, and I call up John and say, "Let's lock this rate in, and let's order your appraisal." And that's how it goes. Well, then you get the appraisal back, and now you've got all the supporting documents, and I'm making it simple. But then we turn it into a human underwriter. Now, the big difference today in the way that mortgages are underwritten is that we used to, that was it. I mean, you were approved, and you went to closing, and that was it. Not today. Today, compliance is so strict that right before you close, they're going to pull your credit again, right before you close. That's why it's important that you don't go out and open any new accounts while you're processing for a mortgage, and you don't add any balances to your existing accounts. And please, for whatever reason, do not get a 12-month same as cash. And I talk about this on the radio all the time because people do it. Well, it was 12 months same as cash. I don't have to make a payment for a year, so I didn't think it would hurt if I bought all my refrigerators and my window treatments and everything to go in the new house, 12 months same as cash. Let me tell you what 12 months same as cash does to your credit scores. It tanks them. And here's what I'm going to go into my next phase about credit. Here's the next thing about credit that a lot of people don't know. 30% of your credit score, and I bet everybody in this room has at least 3 credit scores. 30% of your credit scores are derived from your revolving credit activity. So, do you have something?
Yeah, I had a client call me. She was upset with her bank because she had a mortgage with the bank. She paid off her mortgage and she had a home equity line. And she was going to do some future repairs, new roof and painting, whatever. So she kept on. But she paid off that. So they came back and said they had closed the line of credit. It hadn't been used yet because her credit score had dropped because she wasn't making any payments on anything.
Thank you.
She had paid off her mortgage, and so she was furious because she said, wait a minute, you've got a line of credit against a paid off house. If I don't, pay you back, you've got all my equity, and it was, $200,000-$400,000 house. And so she was just furious at them because they had closed, because her credit score had dropped. Exactly what you said. Could you kind of...
Thank you very much. And I actually advertised my show on Dave Ramsey's show. I love Dave Ramsey. He believes in no debt. We kind of diverge at that point from each other because my philosophy is there is good debt and there is bad debt. If you want to get started and I believe you can use leverage as a tool, but you got to have good credit to do it. But going back to that, let's come back in for a landing. Yes, ma'am.
Back to the 12-month same as cash deal. What about layaway? If somebody goes in and says, I need a refrigerator, can I put this on layaway because it's on sale right now?
I think that's a very good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. I think it's important that you know that they're not going to report anything on your account until you go and actually buy that item. Sir?
You talked about 3 credit bureaus that you actually use. Can you talk a little bit about the scoring with each one and the one that you have more faith in than the others, or
yes.
an average score?
Yes, our lovely government, and I'm sure that if any of y'all are all in business, so you've had to deal with the government, and I apologize if there's any government agents in here. Gee, man. But anyway, there are now multiple scoring systems, which is very important because the mortgage companies with Fannie and Freddie and FHA and VA and rural housing and all of your government mortgage programs are going to use the FICO scoring system, Bear Isaac's FICO scoring system. That's the only scores that matter. And that's really, it's Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Those 3 big bureaus, we call them the big 3. But when you go on annualcreditreport.com or you go to get your credit report off the computer, one of those free ones, it's a lot of times done on the Vantage score system, which scores a lot higher than FICO. And I've had customers say, well, you said that my credit score was 580. They were BTR at the time. And I had given them a workout plan, I said, you do this, in 60 days, or 90 days, come back to me. We should have 40 or 50 points on the board. You should be okay. But they call me, well, after I talked to you, I pulled it off of annualcreditreport.com, and I already have a 630. Why are you getting a 580? Because the annualcreditreport.coms and the stuff where you go get your consumer reports just off the system is a different system than FICO, and it's not going to work on a mortgage. You have to use the FICO. Yes, ma'am.
I got 3 real quick questions. If you have LifeLock and that gives you a credit score, is that a fair Isaac?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Second thing, I've heard that depending on the day of the month that you do your credit score, if you just paid off a balance, your score is going to be better that day than 2 weeks later when you might have a higher balance.
Let me speak to that. I'm going to come back to where I kind of got off on the rabbit trail. Yes,
okay,
one more.
This is back to where you were speaking. Okay, you're working with a client. They open up a credit card to do home improvement. They pay it off before it's even due, before they even get the same bill. Is that still going to ding their credit?
Okay, say that again.
Okay, somebody, while they're in the mortgage process, they take a Lowe's loan, for example, to fix their old house. And they go, oops, I shouldn't have done that. They pay off the balance. So it's like they've opened an account, but by the time the first bill doesn't even come out, they have a zero balance.
Okay.
Does that still work?
I don't know, and here's why I don't know. Each credit card company has a different time when they report to the bureaus. Most of them report every month, and that's important because some of them don't. Some of them report every other month or not every month. Most credit cards are going to report to the big three between the 8th of the month and the 12th of the month. So when I'm talking to customers, I'm like, we really need this to cycle. We call it cycling. That's when the creditor reports to the bureaus, and the bureaus have a chance to put it in their system, and it rescores your score based on the new information that came in that month. That's called cycling. And so usually, if you're going through a credit workout with me, I'm going to say, Alex, I know you paid this thing off on the 7th but let's wait till the 16th. I want to make doubly sure that it has cycled and that it's going to reflect on your credit score. Or you pay this thing down. Paying off doesn't help. Paying down does. Now let me go back to where I kind of went off the point. And you're keeping up with my time, right, Eric? Okay. So 30% of your credit score is comprised of your revolving credit activity. And right now, this could change next year. So this is March the 18th, 2015. Right now, you'll be fine if you keep your owed balances on credit cards or revolving credit below 50% of your total credit limit. You'll be fine. It's not going to help you. It's not going to hurt you. So never, ever, if you want to keep your score up, allow your owed balances on credit cards to go over 50% of your credit limit. So if you have a $10,000 credit limit, John, you never want to borrow 1 penny over $5,000. Make sense? Now, if you want to build your score, I call it putting points on the board. Yes. Then you never want to borrow over 30% of your total credit limit. So if you had $10,000 credit limit, you never want to borrow $1 over $3,000. So
When you say borrow, you just mean spending on that card.
Right. That's right. Thank you for clarifying that.
And is that at the end of the month carrying over, or if you just run up a bill to $9,000 out of it, $10,000 during the month and pay it off at the end of the month?
It depends on the cycle date, when they report to the bureaus. That's why I just say, as a general rule, don't ever borrow over that. If you're trying to put points on the board, you don't ever want to borrow over 30% of your credit limit. Is it going to, obviously, if you ran it up to $9,000, you had a $10,000 credit limit, but then you got it paid off before they reported to the bureau, you're fine. But who knows when they're going to cycle, you see. Sir?
Joe, if you address this to you or Larry, let's say you have a credit card that you just want to open, and let's say they give you a $3,000 limit on that, but you never charge anything out.
No, doesn't help you.
Doesn't help us at all.
No, the only time it affects your score is if you open up a whole bunch of credit. And I've got to tell you, I actually got to train personally with Robert G. Allen back in 1988 in San Diego. He wrote the book, Nothing Down, Creating Wealth and the Challenge. And he was quite a star. Of course, I had sold a lawn and landscaping business, and I had to pay off the nose to do it. But I never regret paying that money because I learned something from that guy, and I forgot where I was going with that. But you were talking about, opening up credit cards. So there was this guy that he brought in to talk to us that he was talking about raising capital to buy houses. Now, this was back in 1988. He came out, and he had this big, fat wallet. And I'll never forget it. He unsnapped it, and he went like that. He was holding the wallet, but he went like this, and all these credit cards just went slinging out. Just went slinging out across the floor in these little transparent, you know what I'm talking about, sleeves. Yeah. And he says, this is how I finance my houses. He said, I use up credit cards, and he had probably 30. Well, anyway, his credit score was in the tank, let me tell you, because he went and got all those at one time. You never want to do that. Don't ever do that, please. And it doesn't work today anyway. But anyway, if you go out and get a whole bunch of new credit really quick, it can tank your scores. Not very much, about 10%. Now, if you're trying to build your score back, so what I would suggest, fastest way to get results is by using revolving credit. If you already have a credit card and it's older, it's going to help you more because the score is higher the older the account is. And again, let me tell you a little magic formula. This is what I do with people who come in and they say, I've got a 580 score, but I need to buy a house in 60 days. Love you guys when you do that. What agents, especially realtors, will do that to me. We've got to close in 60 days. I'm like, good luck. But anyway, what we do is we tell them, go get a secured credit card. I send them to Capital One. I don't have a dog in the hunt, but I know Capital One reports every single month. They get a secured credit card for $250, and I'll say, look, go out, and this is just a tool. You're not going to use this credit card for anything except to build your scores. Go out and get $19 worth of gas in your car using that card. Because if you really want to put some octane and getting that score up really fast, this is how to do it, at least for right now. $19 worth of gas in a car. wait a month, you're going to get a statement. You got to make a $10 minimum payment. Make the $10 minimum payment on time. Then go down to the gas station, put another $10 in the car. You never want to let the balance drop below $12 because once it, whatever reason, on some cards, if it drops below 12, it rounds down to 0 and you get no points. And you get the best results if you stay with a balance owed under 20. So I just say, just play the game for a couple of months. Let it cycle at least twice, and we may see 40 points on the board. But anyway, Susan and I know I'm running out of time. Susan and I have learned, we're trained on the credit simulators. It's like a flight simulator. We pull all 3 bureaus on your credit, and if you need help, if your scores are too low or you're really trying to get into the best price bracket, we'll run a simulation on it, and it'll tell you the fastest way you can put the most points on your credit score with the least amount of investment out of your pocket. Sweet. We've done them so many times now, we don't even have to do this credit simulation. We can just look at it and go, we know exactly what you got to do.
Does it matter if you have one credit card or a bunch of credit cards?
It's not good to have a whole bunch of credit cards. And Larry, if you want to speak to that, I know the bank side, he's with Alliance Bank. I'm actually with Evolve Bank, but I do mortgages. Larry does banks. Can you speak to the difference between the way the banks look at open lines of credit versus mortgage?
Well, we did the same thing. We had the same score, minimum score of 650. You know, and obviously being that was 700 is a lot better, but we have a minimum of 650. One thing I want to speak to is medical debt. We find a lot of credit reports. People have had surgery, if they've done something, they got insurance. The insurance company pays a percentage of it, and the hospital says, well, you know, you owe $200 right now. A lot of times people say, well, I'm disputing that, or I'm doing this, and that just sits on that credit report, and it doesn't go away. You know, so it goes 60, 90 days, 120 days. You think you're in dispute, you're just arguing. That is tanking your credit score. We see a lot of people that have had surgeries and medical debt, and they're just totally going to change the rules. Right. That's going to help that a little bit. But be aware if you've had medical, surgeries and stuff, to watch your credit report. The other thing is on that annualcreditreport.com. Everybody in here gets to go once a year to that website. That's the only one that's free. That's what the government says. You get all 3. Annualcreditreport.com. Not any of these, not free credit. Annualcreditreport.com. Every one of us should go in there once a year. You just log everything in. They'll ask you your social security number, all that. You can print out all 3 of your credit reports from all 3 agencies.
It's not going to be the FICO scoring system, but you will be able to see what kind of activity is on there. Right. And if there's something on there that's not yours, you'll know.
That way you can find any fraud or anything.
That's right. That's right. So
one of my friends suggested on that, Larry, you tell me if this makes sense, to actually break that up into 3 uses. So you do one credit report now, one credit report 4 months from now, another credit report 4 months from now, and then you can recycle so that you can follow all 3 of them over the course of the year.
I didn't think you could go but once a year to that.
No, you can do each credit report separately.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to open up for questions, but here's my reference. We strongly recommend that if you are wanting to know about your credit and how it's calculated, formulated, nobody knows the magic ingredient, but you can get pretty close by going to myfico.com. That's my, F as in Frank, I-C-O, myfico.com. It's very reliable site for knowing what's going to affect your credit scores. I want to open up for questions. I got a couple minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Joe has helped us. I just got to give her a plug. Joe has helped Troy and I. She got me a 3% on a rental property a few years ago, and it's just unbelievable. But you said something that I don't know why I never thought of it before. You said that you say this person has a lot of money in the bank. If we have cash in a stock account just sitting there, would it not make sense to take the cash out of the stock account and put it in a checking account just so we look cash rich?
Okay. There's a difference though. The credit scores have nothing to do with, they don't know how much assets you have in the bank. That was on underwriting for a loan. But the more liquid you are, the more money you have in reserve, of course, the better you're going to have it in underwriting. But really the money you have in the bank or how long you've been on your job has nothing to do with your credit score. Good point though. Anybody else? Marcella?
Well, as he was saying, is it safe to put your social security number out there on the internet like that?
If you're going to that site, it's a secure site. So that's the way they're going to find your credit score.
Don't do it when you're sitting in a hotel room.
Right.
Or at Panera Bread.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
You help us out because I know you tell people do not give your social security number out, do not open accounts. But when an insurance company asks for your social and they all do it, it's okay.
It's a soft hit. It doesn't show up as a hard inquiry. It doesn't go against you on that. Good point. So you can shop insurance. One more thing, you can also shop mortgage companies. If you shop like within a 2-week period, you can get multiple hits from your shopping like mortgage companies as long as they're coded as a mortgage company. All the inquiries are coded coming from a mortgage company. That allows you to shop. The same thing with cars. You're shopping for cars. The thing you run into trouble with is if you're shopping for a car and they're going to check your credit and all that, you have to make sure, are they running the credit through a finance company or are they running it with a car auto sales code? Because as long as it's the same type of company, even though the inquiries show up, they don't count against you except for one within a 14-day period. Sir?
You said it very quickly a while ago about keeping it a percentage of total debt, your outstanding balances. I had a businessman tell me years ago that if you close an account, it can hurt your credit score. I didn't understand that. Understanding that, like you said, you have $5,000 debt on a $10,000 account total, and you close an old, 12 months same as cash, you said close that account, and it was $1,000. Now you got $5,000 of $9,000 debt. You close an account, your total available credit just decreased, your outstanding balance stayed the same, so you actually
I've got to have to close out. Eric's giving me this, but one more thing. When you get those things in the mail, it says 0 interest for 6 months, transfer all your balances. Be really careful with that because you're going to go over that 50% debt ratio. Y'all have been a wonderful audience. Thank you for obliging me to come, and we have a door.